So recently, another YouTuber by the name of Negan, sorry, I meant Negus, made a video where he brought up the idea of Splatoon becoming free to play, kind of like Fortnite and Apex Legends, and I'm here to say no, absolutely fucking not. Okay, before I go into why this wouldn't work, let me just say two things first. First of all, don't harass niggas. I know this should be a pretty obvious thing to say, and it really shouldn't be a problem considering our subscriber counts aren't even comparable, but better safe than sorry. I mean, if you're going to harass anyone, harass dude who originally came up with the idea on Twitter. This is a joke, by the way, don't harass either of them. Second, there is absolutely no way Nintendo would make these games free to play. How do I know this? Compare the games that Nintendo has included for free as a part of their online subscription service to the £50 games like Mario, ARMS, and of course Splatoon. Yeah, it's clear Nintendo doesn't put as much effort into their free-to-play games as they do to their mainline games. My theory about why they do this is, well, to put it simply, Nintendo doesn't want to gamble with free-to-play games because if they fail, it's gonna be a bad financial investment. Now, let's say that Nintendo did, for some reason, want to make the games free to play. Let me get into why I think that this would be a bad idea. First of all, let's get into the main, biggest reason that I'm pretty sure you're all worried about: microtransactions. If Splatoon becomes free to play, Nintendo will obviously need some way to generate profit, which will of course mean that they will have to add microtransactions or something similar to that, somewhere in the game. Now, I don't think Nintendo would be evil enough to hide things like weapons or anarchy or salmon run behind paywalls. However, they would probably hide certain outfits behind them, which I am absolutely against. Why? Well, for me personally, one of the biggest reasons why I love the Splatoon series is the urban style. I love how all the stages are based on things that you would see in the real world. I love the fact that you can see NPCs doing normal things, like selling and eating. I love the different clothing that is made to resemble real life clothing that we wear in our everyday lives. So if one of these things was to be hidden behind a paywall and I would have to go out of my way to buy something like, let's say, the Anarchy set, I would most certainly have a bitter taste in my mouth, as I'd feel like a part of Splatoon's core identity was locked away. I mean, do you really think I would name my channel Anarchy if I had to pay to wear Anarchy clothes? Well, that's just one way I could see microtransactions being done. Perhaps there'd be some other ways. Perhaps they would give you more cash and more sea snails for players who pay for it. That would probably be one of the least obnoxious ways of adding microtransactions. Now, there's of course the possibility of making the sellout machine require real money. Yeah, Nintendo's not doing that. There's absolutely no way Nintendo's adding loot boxes into Splatoon. In fact, since Splatoon 3 is PEGI 7, Nintendo will probably get in trouble for something like that. They'd probably have to pay a huge amount, kind of like what Epic's dealing with right now. In fact, that's another reason why Nintendo shouldn't make the game free to play. Most free to play games are around PEGI 12. So Nintendo would probably have to make some agreements with PEGI and the other game content raters just to get the game up. And in case anyone's thinking about it, no, Nintendo would not increase the age rating, considering that would probably cause them to lose a huge chunk of Splatoon fans. So that's another reason not to do it. And finally, the single player. What the hell is going to happen to the single player? If they made the single player something that you would have to pay for instead of it just coming with the game, a shit ton of people wouldn't play it. I mean, when's the last time you ever hear people talking about the single player of Fortnite or something like that? If Nintendo sees that less people are buying the single player compared to buying things in the main game, then that would cause Nintendo to invest less money into the story modes, and the story modes wouldn't be as fun or as long as they usually are. So, To cut a long story short, no, Splatoon should not be free to play. At least not the main games. Perhaps Nintendo could do a Mario Kart Tour or Fire Emblem Heroes and make a mobile game similar to Splatoon. It would be a good way of bringing in new players without disturbing the old ones. But did you know that there's another way you could bring the spotlight into Splatoon and get more people to buy it? The anime series. In fact, I already made a video talking about my ideas for a Splatoon anime, which should be on the screen right about now. Anyways, take care of yourselves.